And we are so glad to have you with us, Sharon, a woman after my own heart. You know, she loves the creative arts. I tell you, my heart is there too. That's really one of my passions as well. Where did you develop that passion?
Well, I think God gives us each different callings and gifts. And for me, from the time I was young, I just felt like we need a variety of ways to talk to God and about God, because He's so awesome. He's so multifaceted. There's so much to Him that one way of communicating about Him isn't enough. We need drama, we need dance, we need painting, we need words. And even within, for example, the art form of the novel, we need every different genre, which I'm so excited to see that Christian fiction now has expanded into a wide range of genres, because every different kind gives us another facet of who God is and a new way to communicate about Him.
This particular book, Stepping into Sunlight, how did God inspire you to go forward with this particular type of story?
This one's really close to my heart because it's about a Navy chaplain's wife. Her husband's on his first deployment, so she's alone, and she witnesses a violent crime and has trouble. It just really shakes the bedrock of her faith. And as she's trying to heal from the experience and ask God all the tough questions, she designs a project to help her heal. And the book was important to me because I think there's a lot of Christians who suffer silently with issues of post-traumatic stress or anxiety or depression, like this character does. C.S. Lewis said, "We read to know that we're not alone." And when I find a character in a novel that I can relate to and I go on that journey with them, I feel like, oh, I'm not alone, and I'm encouraged and I'm inspired. So I really had a heart to give a voice to the people who are struggling with those issues through this character and her journey. And it's a tough journey, but ultimately a triumphant one.
Is that really what inspired you to make the switch from dance and music and that side of the arts to writing a novel and being a mother of four? Like, you really needed something else to do.
Well, writing is a lot easier on the body than classical ballet. So I was getting old. That was part of it. And I've been writing all my life, and it came to a time where my children were older and I was able to just have some time. And as I prayed and sought God about what to do next, He spoke into my heart to start writing a novel. And I did say to Him, you do realize that it's very hard to get published and that this is just a very strange thing and this isn't going to happen. And
so you were telling God.
I was telling God how impossible this was going to be, and He really wasn't impressed with me and all my worries and doubts. And He just kept saying, write the story. And so then Bethany House read a manuscript and said, hey, we believe in what the kind of stories you're telling about the Christian experience. And so they published my first novel and have been off and running since then.
Well, and writing plays a vital part in this story too, because your main character uses writing to kind of get all those feelings out. I guess commonplace now to call it journaling. That's
Right.
the in term to use.
Yeah, she designs this project. She calls it Penny's Project, and she gets a little yellow notebook, and at first she's writing some of her goals because she's very goal-oriented. But setting goals for ourselves isn't always the solution. And then she begins to go deeper and ask God, for some guidance with this. And one of the things she uses, she writes her prayers. She begins to write just worship of who God is in her journal. And she also sets a goal to do a small, kind act for a new person each day. Right. And she's in a place where that's not very easy for her. She's very broken and very fearful. And it's amazing to watch how God takes those little tiny offerings, it's like fish and loaves, and He multiplies them. And she has a really amazing impact in the lives of people around her that she would not have expected from doing just that small step.
Now, one of the reasons why, probably the main reason why Penny, the character, is broken and so hurt, is she witnesses a crime.
Right.
Right now, why did you decide to kind of set the story around something like that? And was that something that you've ever experienced?
I've had a few distant experiences with crime. Our car was shot when we lived in the Tidewater area of Virginia, which is where the book is set. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't in the car at the time, so it wasn't as terrifying as what Penny goes through. But I wanted to take a character to a place where everything that she thought she believed, she starts out with a very strong faith in God and maybe even a little complacent in that, and feels like, yes, I'm here to save the world. And I wanted to have something happen to her that raised some tough questions so that she'd have to grapple with that and really ask God. So that's why I chose this violent crime, and then also the fact that her husband's on a deployment, which happens right at the same time, so that all the support systems are gone. They've just moved to a new area. Her home church, you know, is far away. All the people she would turn to, family and friends, aren't there. And so it sets up an opportunity for her to lean on God in a new way.
And this concept of the random acts of kindness, the trying to do something kind for somebody each day, is that something that was implemented in your life and you wanted to make readers aware of it, or what prompted putting that into the book?
You know, it's something that's always interested me, even from the time I was little, to look for ways to surprise someone and to look for the power of little things, whether it's a kind word. I once had a person in my home for a retreat, and afterwards she was sharing some hard stuff, and at the porch I said, you know, if you ever need to talk, just give me a call. She went home and wrote to me and said, I have been asking God for a sign that I matter to him for years, and when you said those words, it was the answer to that prayer. And I thought, I had no idea. Yeah. We never know the aches, the wounds, the holes in the person across from us. And to just be available to God to use us in small ways is so profound and so important. So I really wanted to highlight that through this character.
You know, something that I think you bring up an interesting point is that many times when we are going through difficult situations, the last thing we want to do is do something for somebody else. It's, you know, right, you kind of want to wallow, you just want to go to bed, you maybe want to hide in a closet. Do you think there's something powerful that happens that when you are in that difficult place, when you kind of do something, even if it's small for somebody else, that's healing for yourself?
I think so. And I think that's very much what happens with this character, which is different from relying on ourselves. It's not that, okay, I am going to fix this because I'm going to do all the right stuff and overcome it, pull myself up by my own bootstraps. That, at first she tries that, and that is not the answer, because we really need to be leaning into God and dependent on him. But then when he calls us to do something that's just a little beyond ourselves, that we just don't feel we can do, he's right there to meet us and anoint it and multiply it and do amazing things with it. So it's our act of obedience, but only in response to what he's calling us to. Right. And it's not our power that brings the healing, it's his.
Personal question here.
Yes.
I know my kids sometimes don't like it when I talk about them on TV, but I do it anyway. Do your kids ever see characters in your books and say, Mom, is that me?
Yeah, well, mostly they're not, some of them aren't as interested enough to look at them, so I'm safe.
Well,
they don't want to read the books.
Yeah.
No, but the ones of my kids who have read the books definitely identify with certain characters and think they're based on them. And friends will say that they see themselves in the books, or that they see my husband in some of the characters. And so if there's any wonderful character and someone says, I think that was me, I say, yes. Yes, of course. And if there's a dark and twisted character and they say, was that based on me? Oh, never,
no.
Never.
Good answer, Sharon. Now, you know, someone was quoted as saying that your book is a story for every woman, and dare I say every man too, but for everyone who wonders where God is when life hurts. And so my question to you is, where is he? What have you discovered? Where is he during those times?
He is so close to us in the dark places, but not always in the ways we expect. In the story, as Penny is trying to seek healing, and she's looking in different ways, God comes to her through a very quirky group of a support group of other victims, and through a storefront mission that she gets involved in, and through a meddlesome neighbor, and even a really goofy hamster. I mean, there's a whole lot of odd things that happen in the story, and God is there in all those places. So he is as close as our next breath. He's always with us, but sometimes in ways we aren't looking for. So we just need to open our eyes and start to notice him.
Right. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for coming and sharing what really is just a fabulous story, and I know one that every person can identify with. So thank you so much. Again, the book is Stepping into Sunlight. If you'd like some more information, you can go onto our website, harvest-tv.com. And also, if you're sitting in that place, maybe you're hurting, something is going on in your life, and you wonder, God, where are you? We'd love to pray with you. Give us a call at 1-800-365-3732. Stay with us. The Harvest Show will continue in just a moment.